Hello and welcome to another Science 9 crash course. In this episode we're going to talk all about natural and artificial selection. And we're going to talk about the father of natural selection, Mr. Charles Darwin. To begin this episode we're going to talk about domestication. Domestication is the process whereby a population of living organisms is changed at the genetic level. This is done through selective breeding, where humans select the traits that they want in order to benefit us as humans. Another name for selective breeding is called artificial selection. And humans have been doing this for many years. Some of the first species to ever be domesticated have been dogs and sheep. We have also domesticated many other organisms such as wheat, corn, potatoes, and rice, as well as 80 other different plants that have been domesticated throughout history, but today we use just a few. Wheat and rice make up 40% of our total food energy. All of this allows us to get the desirable traits that we want to benefit us as humans. All of this domestication, however, comes to us at a cost. As we keep the traits that we want, we lose all the others, and by so doing this, we actually decrease the variation of that organism. And reducing this variation will increase the chances of disease and reduce the health of the organism. A long time ago, in the year 1831, Charles Darwin sailed on the HMS Beagle for 5 years. He was on a voyage to South America. During this voyage, they stopped at a few small islands called the Galapagos Islands. While he was on the Galapagos Islands, he noticed all these different birds with different sized beaks and realized that they were all finches. He devised a theory that all of these finches came from a common ancestor finch, and that they adapted for different food sources on each island. Because of these discoveries and many others, in 1859 Charles Darwin published the influential book titled On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. At the same time in history, Alfred Wallace came up with the same ideas as Darwin, but never got credit for it. In Charles Darwin's book, he developed the theory of natural selection to explain how the closely related process of artificial selection could occur in nature. This theory of natural selection can be summed up in 4 simple points. The first statement says, all organisms produce more offspring than can possibly survive. The second point states that there is incredible variation within each species. The third point is that some of these variations increase the chances of an organism surviving to reproduce. And lastly, Darwin proposed that over time, variations that are passed on lead to changes in the genetic characteristics of a species. Some people call this process the survival of the fittest, and this may be true in the short term. However, over the long term, the organism and species that are going to survive better are those that are able to change and adapt to a constantly moving environment. Well, this episode has now come to an end. If you want to hear more about natural selection and evolution, check out the links below in the description.